As the weather warms up, nature kicks into high gear. Animals wake from hibernation, birds start nesting, and plants race towards the sun. Inside a typical classroom, that explosion of life is often flattened onto the pages of a textbook. Students sit at their desks, reading about the seasons changing, while the actual biological activity happens just outside the window. People have always celebrated this burst of springtime energy. Hundreds of years ago in Germany, stories began about the Easter rabbit, or the Easter bunny, visiting gardens to hide colorful eggs. This cultural tradition marked the return of active wildlife and new life cycles after a long, cold winter. Reading a paragraph about an egg hatching or a seed sprouting misses how these ecosystems actually work. You cannot feel the texture of a reptile's scales or see the mechanics of how an animal moves by looking at a photograph. To understand the science of spring, the learning environment needs to match the kinetic energy of the season itself. The classroom has to physically transform. That is where mobile animal and science workshops step in. Instead of asking students to imagine wildlife, educators bring interactive science stations and secure animal habitats right into the school hall. When children observe a living creature up close, the biology of a life cycle makes immediate sense. They can see exactly how an animal breathes, moves, and reacts to its environment in real time. These workshops introduce a wide range of species to show contrast. A student might observe a snake to learn how reptiles hatch from eggs, then look at a guinea pig or a ferret to see how mammals develop and grow. This animated diagram shows vertebrate classification. Vertebrate classification is the biological system used to group animals that have a backbone into categories like mammals, birds, reptiles, amphibians, and fish. By looking at physical traits like fur, scales, or moist skin, educators help children figure out where each animal belongs on this tree. When a child safely holds a tree frog or gently touches a python's scales, they build a physical connection to that creature. That direct, tactile experience builds a respect for wildlife that a two-dimensional drawing cannot replicate. Biology is engaging, but observing animals is only half of the educational equation. The natural world is also governed by invisible forces and chemical reactions. To explain these concepts, the workshops include hands-on chemistry experiments. Students mix safe substances to create bubbling reactions that mimic the rapid growth and kinetic energy found in spring ecosystems. This vector diagram shows the physics of a classic Easter egg drop experiment. As the egg falls, you can see the downward arrow of gravity pulling it toward the floor, while the upward arrow represents air resistance pushing back against it. Next, the students use material science to solve a problem. Material science is the study of solid substances and how their specific properties, like flexibility or strength, can be used to build protective structures. By designing a barrier, they try to absorb and distribute that kinetic force, so the egg survives the impact. These demonstrations often get messy, which is entirely the point. It forces the students to test their ideas, adjust their designs, and actively problem solve. Combining hands-on physics and chemistry with live animal biology provides a comprehensive look at how the mechanical and biological parts of an ecosystem work together. Organizing a traditional field trip to a zoo or science center takes a massive amount of work. Teachers have to book buses, coordinate permission slips, and manage large groups of excited kids during busy holiday terms. The alternative is bringing the trip to the students. Fully mobile workshops pack up animals, science equipment, and educators, delivering the entire experience directly to schools, holiday clubs, and community centers. This animated map shows the operational reach of these mobile units across the UK, with teams traveling from hubs in London, Birmingham, Manchester, and Edinburgh. Educators can reach classrooms in major cities and rural areas alike. The educators who run these visits are specifically trained in science communication and safe animal handling. They ensure strict safety protocols are followed, keeping the focus on learning while maintaining excellent welfare standards for every creature involved. Because the setup is completely mobile, the encounters are adaptable. These science sessions frequently run at educational Easter parties or even as animal therapy events for corporate teams focusing on mental health awareness. By removing the stress of travel and logistical planning, teachers and event organizers can focus their energy on giving their students an immersive learning experience. The value of these workshops extends beyond a single afternoon. Engaging directly with animals and experiments leaves a lasting psychological imprint on young learners. Watching abstract scientific ideas take physical form allows children to treat science as a practical tool for understanding their surroundings. They start to grasp concepts like ecosystem adaptation. Ecosystem adaptation is the evolutionary process where species develop specific physical traits or behaviors to survive in their environment. By looking closely at a giant snail or a crested gecko, students can see exactly how those creatures are built for survival. Tactile encounters with a royal python or a successful chemistry trial turn abstract interest into direct observation. These moments of discovery mirror the daily work of a wildlife conservationist or a researcher in STEM. STEM is an acronym that stands for Science, Technology, Engineering, and Mathematics. A successful springtime educational recipe requires taking that natural curiosity and transforming it into active discovery. Reach out and book a mobile animal and science workshop for your students today.